Hola mi gente! Welcome back to Cat and Too Many Books. I'm Kat, and I wanted to just take a moment and talk to you about what I am hoping to read this November. These are my November pile of possibilities. So, I've got a couple that I'm already reading, so let me just tell you about those. I actually started to read Hungerstone by Kat Dunn, which is a sort of retelling or inspired by Carmilla, which is the first sort of vampire story. It's actually the story that inspired Dracula as well. This is the story of Lenore, who is in a sort of loveless marriage at this point. And she and her husband are on a trip and accidentally run into a woman who's had an accident. They bring her home, and the woman is Carmilla. It's a sapphic romance, I think. Horror. It is a horror. And so I think it's like Lenore, Carmilla wakes up a lot of feelings in Lenore that she's not wanted to feel in a long time. There's a mystery about Lenore's parents and what happened to them. And it's just, I think, a lot of female rage, I think, is part of this book as well, which is understandable once you're reading it, because, boy, I'd be also angry. So anyway, I started reading. I'm a little bit in it, but yeah, this is going to be probably one of the first things that I read this November. I also began to read one of the books from my library haul, which I will have that video up as well later in the week, talking about what was on my library haul. But this book is one of the ones on my library haul, and that is Whatever Happened to Lori Lovely by Sarah McCoy. This is the story of Lou. They have to write their thesis to be able to graduate from college. And they decide that they want to talk about their Aunt Lori, who became a nun. She was once like a rising it girl, like movie star, and then left it all behind to take the vows and become a cloistered Benedictine nun. And so Lou decides to go find out the real story behind that. Lou's had questions about why their aunt has done this their whole life, and they just kind of want to find out. And so their Aunt Lori decides to tell them what happened. So it's sort of the story of Lori telling us why she decided to take the vows, or what happened that got her there. And what I really like about this is I went to see Sarah McCoy, or I was at a book festival, and Sarah McCoy was there, and I went to the panel with her, and she spoke about how she was inspired by 3 specific actresses from the 50s. One of them specifically did become a nun, and she contacted that actress, and she and the actress have now become really good friends. And so I love that. I love that having that background as a sort of a bit of what's going on with the book. So yeah, I'm really liking it. I started reading. I'm only a couple of pages in, but it's really good so far. I'm really enjoying it. Okay, so for the rest of the month, I have possibilities, big pile of possibilities here. I have, let me see, hold on a moment. About 14 books, 14 more books than the 2 that I already showed you. I will not be reading this many. You all know that I do not read that many, but I like to have choices. And so these are the ones that I have on my TBR of possibly things that I want to read. The next one is another Sarah McCoy, Marilla of Green Gables, which is obviously the story of Marilla from Anne of Green Gables, which is the woman that adopts Anne with her brother Matthew, and it's sort of about her as a young woman, and sort of her. Oh, there's a lot of shadows. Sorry, there's a lot of shadows. About her past and how she becomes who she becomes when Anne meets her. And I think, maybe romances, maybe her relationship with her family, how they get in charge of it comes that they have to run the farm, all that stuff. So yeah, it sounds like a really good one, and I really, really enjoy Marilla. I think she's a fascinating character, and I don't think we get to know enough about her. Next on my list, I have Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. All you need to know about this is a sapphic romance in space, and that is all I care about. Taylor Jenkins Reid wrote my favorite book, which is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I hear this is equally as good, so it's in there. I feel like I might definitely definitely pick this one up. The next book I want to read is actually nonfiction. This is, I think, one of two nonfictions that I sort of wanted to have on my pile this month, and it's You Sound Like a White Girl, The Case for Rejecting Assimilation by Julissa Arce, which is the story of Julissa's high school crush. So it's about Julissa's high school crush tells her that she spoke like a white girl, or she sounded like a white girl, and that sent her on this sort of spiral looking into that, into what makes us want to assimilate into a place that doesn't particularly want us. And so it goes into that, talking about that, and talking about like finding your own, carving your own space in this world without losing the thing that makes you you. It feels like this is very apropos right now about the space that we have to live in this world that does not, that find people with my skin color and my possible accent and my ability to speak a different language, find us to be not able to belong. And so I really wanted to kind of give this a chance and sort of read what Julissa had to say about that. The next book I wanted to pick up is The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. I've read this. I read half of this a while back, and I really enjoyed it, but for some reason I stopped reading it and never went back into it. And so I really want to go back into it and kind of finish it. It's about a witch named Zan who rescues a little girl and the little baby and feeds her moonlight, and then that baby becomes very powerful. But Zan doesn't know how to help her, so she sort of tries to keep her safe. There's tiny dragons in this. There's a lot of like fantasy. It's pretty dark too. There's a lot of dark stuff in it. The half that I read was incredible. And so I kind of want to go back, and I'm going to obviously start from the beginning, but I'm going to hopefully reread this whole thing. And this is a good one, I think, to be able to reread this month. Next, I have When I Was Puerto Rican by Esmeralda Santiago. So Esmeralda, this is an autobiography or a memoir of Esmeralda, talking about her family moving from Puerto Rico to here, Nueva York. Actually, I think they moved to, and so New York. And it's sort of about the trials and tribulations of being a child from from La Isla, moving to the States, and everything that you sort of went through as a Puerto Rican, Boricua, during that time. I think this is set in the 1970s. And so, yeah, I really am wanting to read this. I'm Puerto Riqueña, and I moved here from the La Isla from Puerto Rico when I was 6. And I don't know that I had the same experience as Esmeralda did, but I want to kind of read and hear her experience as well, because it is both a tumultuous time to be brown at all in this country, and it is important to read about all the struggles that those of us have come before us have had, to be prepared for what's possibly coming for us. So yeah, that's definitely up on high on my list. The next book I have to possibly read is The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore. I read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe last year, maybe the year before. I really enjoyed it. It was very cute. And this one is about Noah. Is it Noah? Is it right? Hazel and Noah. Yeah, about Hazel and Noah, who were in the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And they had definitely a thing in that one, and I think it translates to this one. It's super cute. I love all the fall stuff. It's set in a bookstore. Cute romance. Don't know how spicy it is, but the first one was kind of spicy, so I'm assuming this one's gonna be a little spicy too, which I don't always mind. It just depends on how it's written. So yeah, be cute to have a little romance on my little possibilities list. The next one I have is another sort of cozy book, and that is The Spell Shot by Sarah Beth Durst. I love the cover so much of this. This is about Keela, who does not like dealing with people. She's a librarian of the Great Library of Elysium, and She has a sentient spider plant named Kaz, and they have spent the last decade sequestered among the Empire's most precious spellbooks, preserving their magic for the city's elite. So a revolution begins and the library goes up in flames, so she flees with the spellbooks to a small, I think, little neighborhood, little town, and just kind of hole up in the town. And a lot of stuff happens, I think, is basically the idea. It sounds really cute, very cozy. Should be fun. The next book I have is The Chicken Sense Convenience Store, which by Kim Ho-yeon, translated by Janet Hong. It is the story of Doko, who is homeless, and he ends up finding this wallet full of... No, Doku's the... I think Doku is... No, yes. Doku, who is homeless, he ends up finding this wallet in the middle of the street with a lot of money in it. And he ends up returning it to the owner, which is Mrs. Yum. Is that right? Who owns a convenience store. And she is so grateful and happy that he's such an honest person that she allows him to stay in her convenience store. And then, like, people think she's crazy, but then, like, he starts sort of integrating himself into the society, and people really start liking him, and it's just about him, like, building community and family, and it sounds kind of sweet. And I really like translated work. I read something similar to this, Welcome to, I think it's at the Hong Kong bookstore or something, earlier this year, that I really enjoyed. So I'm going to give this one a go, because it's really sounds really sweet and it's short. So I've been trying to read this for a few months, and I'm hoping I can get to it before the end of the year. This is Meet Me at the Crossroads by Megan Giddings. It is the story about 7 doors that open in the world, all across the world. And it's really a story of these twin sisters whose like family are divided about the doors. They're 2 black girls from the Midwest. And so their dad is sort of part of I would even call it a cult that sort of follows the doors. Their mom is actually very religious herself, but actually the church itself. So another cult, really, sort of. And so it's sort of them divided between their parents, but they themselves are really close, and they each go with one parent and sort of have to deal with that relationship. But one of the sisters ends up going through one of the doors and disappearing, and so it's the story of what does the other twin do when part of herself is gone. I don't know if she's gonna follow her. I don't know what's through the doors. It's supposed to be kind of a horror as well. So I love stories about sisters, and I think, like, a speculative fiction about sisters and the ramifications of worshiping these things and what that does to families. I think this is going to be a really fascinating book. Next, I have The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. So the story is about Beatriz, whose father is executed during the Mexican Revolution, and she ends up having to marry a gentleman named Señor Rodolfo to be able to save, I think, her hacienda. And she kind of ignores rumors about what happened to his first wife, and I think it's a story about what really is going on. It's supernatural, because Isabel Cañas always writes supernatural stuff. I have no idea if this is about... I don't know what kind of supernatural creature it is, because I know she wrote Vampires del Norte, and I don't know if this is also about vampires, but it obviously has something to do with some kind of supernatural force, and Isabel, Beatriz, dealing with it, I'm guessing. I know very little about it, but let's go. The next one is one that I would like to finish right now, because, like, the movie's coming out, and that is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I actually started reading this a while ago. I got through a good chunk of it. I think almost 200 pages of it. So was I halfway through? A little under halfway through. So, I mean, I got through a big chunk of it. So I think I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to get the audiobook and listen to it to re-listen to it from the beginning, and then continue completing what I haven't completed. But there's a story about a teacher who is sent on a scientific quest to go get something that we need to save the earth. He does go, and this is all on the blurb, so it's not giving anything away. He ends up going, but when he wakes up, he's the only one of his group to survive, but he does not remember what he's doing there. Like, he does not know why he's there or what his mission is, so he has to sort of go back and try to figure it out through the clues that he has. And so, like, you follow him along and learn as he learns, as he remembers and gets the clues. And he also, it's possible he has to make first contact with something out there. So, yeah, that's what it's about. And it's in the tone, Andy Weir's tone, which I really enjoy. He's very funny, so I really enjoy how he tells stories and how his characters are extremely funny characters. So, yeah, I'm going to definitely finish this one. The next one I have is one that I've been meaning to read for a while. I think I bought this late last year, maybe earlier in this year, and that's Tears of the Wolf by Elizabeth Wheatley. This is a Viking-inspired romance, historical romance, which might be even fantasy. So I think it's a Viking-inspired historical romantic fantasy. And I find this fascinating because it's like not a typical sort of like romance in the terms of the female character. Like, she is divorced, has such a child. She marries Cedric. I think his name is Cedric. And like they come to an understanding. So it's like a marriage of convenience sort of story, which is one of my favorite sort of tropes. And them having to navigate the new relationship they have, them having to navigate each other and also fight off other forces. There's also apparently a telepathic dog. It just sounds so good. It sounds so fun. So I want to try this and pick it up and give it a go. Next, I have Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross, which is the sequel to Divine Rivals, which is one of my favorite books of the year. I read Divine Rivals early in the year and loved it so much. Genuinely, this moved me so very much. And so this is picking up from where that left off, which was a bit of a cliffhanger, but it involves more directly the gods from the first book. We didn't hear much from the gods that were sort of part of the first book, and I think we get to know more about that backstory as well as what happens to our main characters. I don't know any more than that. I don't want to know any more than that. I don't want to give away any more than that. I do hope that I get to this month, but I will be getting to this before the end of the year. So definitely is in there. Next, I have Our Lady of Mysterious Ailments by T.L. Huchu, which is the second book in the library. What's it again? I can't remember. I'm sorry. I gotta look it up. It's called the Edinburgh Night series. So it is about a girl who she sort of sees ghosts, but she like interacts with them and frees them. It's like try to help them complete whatever they need to complete so that she can help them move on. Sometimes like the family of the ghost contact her and pay her to do these things. And then in the first book, she stumbled upon a very malevolent being, demon, spirit, and had a entire thing happen to her. She became part of like a library that takes care of these things. So she's sort of part of that now, kind of. You get to know a little bit more about her grandmother and her sister and her best friend. She meets another person she becomes really good friends with. So she's building like a community and a core of friends. And I think this Our Lady of Mysterious Ailments is obviously the next one in the series, which I don't really want to read more about it because if you haven't read it, I don't know. But the Ropa, this talks about her discovering the underground library, befriending Priya, and Priya works at Our Lady of Mysterious Ailments, a very specialized hospital where a new illness is resisting magical and medical remedies alike. So I think she goes to help figure out what's going on at the hospital. I really love the writing about this. I really loved Ropa. I enjoyed her so much. So I'm excited to try to get back into this series. And finally, for the last book in my pile of possibilities for November is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Let's talk about how many years I've been trying to read this book. Really, I need to get it done. if I don't get this read at this point by the end of this year, I'm gonna have to do this as part of a read it all on haul thing and just finally unhaul it. But so this book is about Noemi, who is sent by her family to her cousin's house. Her cousin's newly married. The family is strange. She's worried, and her family worried about her cousin. She goes to visit her cousin. There is things happening in there. I was kind of told about an aspect of this story that I didn't know about, and a little sad that I know about now, but I'm not going to repeat it because, in case other people don't know it, I don't want other people to be spoiled. But there's something going on in her cousin's family's house, and she's there to try to help her cousin. She also becomes involved with a priest. So I think there's like a thing with her and the priest. And trying to help her cousin and maybe the other people, or at least her cousin. Anyways, so sounds good. I would like to finally read one of Sylvia Moreno Garcia's books. This is so like, oh my God, I can't believe I haven't read this yet. So that's it, guys. That is all I have for my pile of possibilities for November. Hopefully I will get to some of these. I'm not going to get to all of them, but I will have my options open to me. So whatever my mood is, I will be able to pick up something and read it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, anything. You can leave me any kind of comment, anything fall inspired, like emoticons. Let me know what you're reading in November. Link me to your videos if you have any, or just let me know which one of these you think I should definitely give a go if you've read it and think it's like your most favorite book, or you hated it and you think I probably wouldn't like it. Let me know any of that, and hopefully I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.